Dave Ramsey will hate this video. Hate it, I tell you. And I hate to have to put Dave Ramsey in the title, but look, it draws views, man. There's no other way around it. And as much as I don't like to, I'll do it on occasion. Talk about Susie Orman probably once or twice a year, Dave Ramsey once or twice a year. I try not to be one of those guys who are like trying to punch up to get cred by going after the people above you. Like for instance, you'll see guys like Joe Rogan said what, or something like this said what. I never want to be a YouTuber reporting on what other people do or say. That just is not. I got no qualm with people doing that. I actually enjoy videos like that myself. But for my own realm of financial planning, there's so much stuff out there that I don't need to say, hey, what are these other guys saying? What are these other guys doing? To find stuff to talk. I just don't, because there's so much stuff, man. I mean, look, you want to see a bunch of stuff? Check this out. Hold on a second. This is just what the heck, baby? Wow. Okay. This is the annual statistical supplement of Social Security bulletin for 2022. And there's 497 pages of stuff in here, of wonderful information. There's so much stuff in financial planning, retirement planning, all that. Just from the BLS, the Consumer Expenditure Survey, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Social Security stuff. What I'm looking at now, the monthly labor review going back to from 1945. There's so much stuff. You don't need to say, what did this guy say or that guy say to drive content. No, it's amazing to me how much stuff there is. I wish more people would take the time to research. I just have to laugh because some guy got triggered by my last video where I said, I'm the only one who does any research. He goes, you're not the only one. Who do you think you are? And I said, if you don't vote Biden, you ain't black. And he said, so you're calling me racist now? But I was like, oh my goodness, dude. I said, he really doesn't like my channel or me anymore. He said, you used to be good 2 years ago, and he had to tell me how much he despised me now with this long, rambling email to me, paragraphs upon paragraph. I guess I know I'm over the target, dude. When people like you get, their undies tight, I know I'm doing something right. All right, so anyways, going back to the video at hand. So every now and again, my man Don Graves will send me an email. Well, not just me, but here's my man Don Graves right here. Senior housing equity peaks at 13 trillion schmackaroonies. The National Reverse Mortgage Association's latest data reveals that senior head housing equity, and this is an asset, this is equity, is now 13.08 trillion. I mean, you got 13 trillion of untapped equity. You should not be worried about running out of money. I'm sorry. You're not going to be put out of yes, you might not leave a house to your kids. I grant you. I frankly doubt that quite a bit, but let's just use that. The worst case scenario is there's nothing that your kids inherit on your home. The reverse mortgage can't put you out. Can't put you out. You know what puts you out? Not paying your property tax, reverse mortgage or not. Now, if in theory, the mortgage company said, hey, your freaking shingles are falling off. You're not maintaining. I get all that. Assuming they could probably do the same thing on a first mortgage or even a subordinate mortgage too, a home equity line of credit. I don't know. All right, well, are you not going to maintain your home? I mean, come on. So let's just assume that's not going to happen. The only way for you to get put out of your house is not paying your property taxes. All right? Well, you're going to pay your property tax, most likely. Even if you didn't have a reverse mortgage, you could be put out not paying your property tax. All right. Now, let me just throw the asterisks in there. I'm sure there's another way you could be put out of your house. I'm sure there's something, they could, you got asset forfeiture laws and all that stuff. The sheriff could put you out of the house because you got some guy selling friggin' crack cocaine in your basement. The squatters come in. I mean, there's a million ways that could be put out of your house. The reverse mortgage isn't the fear that these people say it is. It's just not. So anyway, you can't get put out if you maintain your home and you pay your bills. You just can't. Bills being the property tax, homeowners insurance. You just can't. Even if you're upside down, they can't, as long as you still live there. If it's owner occupied, you just can't, man. So we always have a roof over our head. Now, again, you might not leave anything to your kids via that home. The mortgage on the house might become worth more than the value of the home. So when you die, your kids won't have any equity in the home. All right. Well, they also don't have a liability either. It's a non-recourse loan. So it doesn't make any sense. So many people are. Some lady just posted a comment that her friend or something like that knew was 71 years old when was had parents in their 90s and she died at 71. The parents are still alive at 90. I'm like, I don't know the circumstance behind that, but you just don't know when your time is called, man. And we spend so much time and energy just planning for the inevitable that we're going to die, and we don't spend enough time just being a human being. This is just my my take, because we're so worried about money. And I'm just saying, you're sitting on this freaking treasure trove of $13 trillion of equity. It's just seniors. Home price appreciation, the main driver behind the surge in senior held equity levels, is the continued appreciation of home prices. Senior home values hit a record high 15 trillion during Q3. So senior home values hit 15 trillion. And yet our equity is 13 trillion. Why? Because we only have 2.3 trillion in senior held mortgage debt. The dual movement emphasizes the intricate interplay between property values and existing mortgage liabilities. Challenges in senior housing and retirement. The report, accompanied by the statement from the National Reverse Mortgage, sheds light on challenges faced by seniors, particularly regarding housing and retirement. Data from the Joint Center of Housing Studies at Harvard, and we're going to just, if Harvard's saying it's probably been plagiarized, you know what I'm saying? Because if it comes from Harvard, I don't know if I trust, literally, I just don't know if you should trust anything from Harvard anymore because they're so DIE focused, if you know what I'm saying. Yes, I did say DIE. But anyway, we'll use it. Joint Center for Housing Studies at Harvard says seniors spend up to 30% of their income on housing costs, classifying them as cost burdened. Well, we know that from the BLS, not from the Consumer Expenditure Survey. And what's one of the biggest issues for housing costs? Oh, right. Yeah, it's mortgages and whatnot. Interesting. So if you didn't have a mortgage, now reverse mortgage is a mortgage, but you don't pay it while you're alive. It's paid at death or the sale of your home. The forecast for the coming years suggests that the U.S. may be ill-prepared to provide adequate housing and supportive services to the expected 17 million households headed by individuals age 80 or over. All right. There is tremendous freedom and independence from eliminating a mortgage payment in retirement. I completely agree. So let me get Knucklehead here. You guys can come with me while I go get him, because we got Sleeping McGee over there. Pablo's just sleeping away. All right, so, and I don't know what they're calling seniors, if they're calling seniors 80 years old. Oh, it's freezing out here, folks. Burr, that's all I got to say. I don't know if y'all can see that. I didn't cover my thing. I had some ice or frost on my, burr. Burr is cold. Anyway, so we got, I don't know what they're calling seniors. It doesn't matter. What I'm just saying is you got tons of equity in your house. It's nuts to me. And all that equity can come back to you tax-free. Yes, there's a closing cost, and the closing cost isn't cheap. You can have a closing cost on a refinance of mortgage, and that ain't cheap either, Dave Ramsey. On top of that, oh my goodness, I don't have my chart here, but just think about it. They're not building enough homes. We know this for a fact. The home market, the inventory of homes is very, very low for sale. They're not building enough single-family homes anymore. They're just not. They haven't been doing it for a long, long time. So what happens when you have less supply and increasing demand? What happens to the price of those homes? Even with interest rates higher than they've been for the last 5 years, what happens to prices? They continue to go up. So for the reverse mortgage to be underwater, because remember, the max you can borrow is something like 55% or something like that. You got to be like 85 years old. But let's just say you got a $500,000 home, and for simplicity, you can borrow $250,000. That means you still have $250,000 of equity that you can't tap into. So for that $500,000, for your to be underwater, that $250,000 would have to increase significantly more than the value of the home. Significantly more than the value of the home's increasing. And yes, that could happen for sure. Let's say the reverse mortgage grows at 7.5. Let me get my calculator. We'll run these numbers here. I have a $500,000 house, and it's going to grow at 3% a year for 20 years. All right, and that $500,000 will be worth $903 in 20 years. Now I got $250,000 debt. All right, present value. We're going to say that grows at 7% for 20 years. 7% interest, 20 years, and that's at 967. All right, so that's with the the debt growing at more than twice the rate of your growth of your home equity, or not your home equity, your home asset value. Does that make sense? So your $250,000 house loan growing at 7% a year would be worth that would cost you $967,000 in 20 years. What did I say about the house? $500,000 present value, 3% is our interest, 20 years. So you would be your kids would be upside down $64,000. So they're not going to inherit anything there at all. Just won't. But they don't owe that $64,000 either. That's literally, in my opinion, the worst case scenario. Yes, the worst case scenario is being put over your house. I grant you. It's just not likely to happen. So let's just say instead the home grew at 4% a year, or let's say 3.5% a year is our interest. Then we're at 994,000. So now we're leaving the kids a little bit of equity, probably not much, but still a little bit of equity. If it grew at 3.5%, if it grew at 4%, it's worth 1.1 million. So I mean, and that's with again a 7% debt, a 3 and 3.5, 4% appreciation. I mean, so literally they're just essentially breaking even, man. Okay, that's for 20 years. That's at 7% on the cost of the service to debt, and 3% to 3.5 to 4% on appreciation, and that's without paying anything back or anything. I just, dude. Okay. Does that seem unreasonable to you? It seems pretty reasonable to me. That's with borrowing, 50%. I can't remember how old you got to be to borrow 50%. I just don't recall. Anyway, so I'm a big fan of reverse mortgages. I've said a million times. Here's my man, Don Graves at the Housing Wealth Institute. Let me bring him up real quick. I'll show you. Yeah, right here. Sign up for your for their newsletter today or whatever, so you get what I just got. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so lots going on here. Heckham Advisorsgroup.com. I'm a fan. And just as a side note, I don't get paid from Don or any of these guys. I don't know who these people. I know Don. That's it. I don't know who these other guys are. Advisors. Those aren't the advisors. We should actually put the real pictures in here. Blog. Oh, here we go. About us. Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, so I don't know. I don't get paid. I don't even know who these people. I just know Don. That's it, man. And I've referred a couple people to Don, and they've been very happy with old Don. I don't get paid. Don sends me a calendar. I haven't even got my calendar yet, Don. Where's my doggone calendar? How double dog dare you? That's what I expect for talking nicely about Don. A calendar. I'm sure the SEC is going to crack down. How dare you get a calendar and not report it? It's one of those, like calendars like this right here. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's nothing fancy. Because everyone's like, because what my man Wade Pfau works, he's been, promoting, talking about the value of reverse mortgages and annuities, and all these people are hating on Wade for, you're just in lockstep with the annuity companies and the industries and the banksters. They're paying you, and I'm like, dude, maybe on the other hand, Wade sees a value in these things that other people have not for decades, and maybe he's presenting to people who could see the value themselves. And as grown individuals, we can make a choice if we want to pursue this or not. Maybe Wade sees something that other people can benefit from without being paid millions. I'm sure Wade is sitting on millions of dollars from the insurance companies. Literally, he's just driving around in Rolls Royces and a top hats and a monocle. The Monopoly man had a monocle. You all know it. Wade Pfau, he's driving around a top hats, a monocle, a convertible Rolls Royce. He's got Murphy as his chauffeur, and he's like playing freaking rap music. Like I don't know, he's throwing out $100 bills, and he's got playing rap music while he's just going down the street. Wade Pfau with all the money the insurance companies are giving to him. So I'm trying to strive to be like Wade Pfau. I can turn in my 10th Mountain Division hat, which I've had for freaking turning that. I can turn in this, my 2011 shirt. Still wearing the same underwear from when I was in Honduras. I can turn. Oh hell, I was still wearing the same underwear from when I was in Reforger in Germany. If y'all remember Reforger, and I can. Maybe that's why we only had 4 kids. I always wanted 5. Maybe that's why I should have changed my underwear. Damn, I wish I would have known. I wish I would have known. I guess it's too late now. All right. Anyway, let me hear your thoughts on this. God bless. And I'll put a link in the Heckham Advisors group. And if you want to sign up, and again, I don't get paid. And do what you got to do, man. You're a big boy. Wear your big boy pants. Do your research. Take the responsibility for your actions. And we're all good. All right, we'll see you guys.